on this, we're now joined by Pimani Baloyi herself, SABC News reporter in Limpopo, and she joins us via our Zoom link. Pimani, thank you so much for joining us this evening. And of course, looking at that story, I mean, residents, they're up in arms. It's been 2 days they've been protesting over a lack of basic service delivery. Perhaps if you can just bring us up to speed, what is the latest coming out from the community in Louis Trichardt?
Good evening, Bali, and good evening to our viewers. So residents say they have been reaching out to authorities to get their demands met, and they say it has not been coming to fruition. So which is why they decided to start what they call a lockdown, a total shutdown of all services, which started today, and they say will come to the end tomorrow. So what they're saying is, for years, their roads are in a bad state. They do not have clean running water in their area, but also they have electricity cuts that are above and beyond load shedding that no one seems to be attending to. And whenever they try to speak to authorities, they are given promises that are never kept. So they even told us that on Sunday they met with the MEC of Infrastructure and Roads in the province, and she never promised to help them in any way, where they say their health is being negatively affected because their access roads are not passable. Ambulances cannot reach them. But even other economic services, saying, bakeries that need to deliver food and other things struggle to access that community. So they feel that for years they've been silent, and, attempts to communicate with government have not borne any fruit. So now they've taken to the road. And what was very interesting about this, Mbali, is that most of these residents stay about 20 kilometers or 50 kilometers away from Louis Trichardt, but they were in buses and taxis that went to Louis Trichardt town, and they were stationed just on the side of the N1 road. And you may recall, this is the N1 road that leads to the Bay Bridge border post. But fortunately, they did not blockade that main road. They were just chanting on the side of the road. And there was a heavy presence of police officers. We saw a police nyala. But they also were blockading roads throughout the entire stretch. Like I'm saying, it's about 50 kilometers from town. Throughout that entire stretch of road, your provincial road, there were blockades in the road. But on the N1, they were just chanting peacefully on the side of the road. So they're saying tomorrow they have drafted a heavily worded memorandum which has demands and timelines. So they'll be delivering that memorandum to the department, and they are hoping that their demands will be met.
And Pimani, would you say, I mean, listening to that package we played just before this interview, one would say that you heard the community leader saying that this has been happening for decades. They've had no water for decades. And would you say that this was their last and final resort just to get the attention of the authorities?
Bali, we must also recall that this is an electioneering period. People are, I got a sense from the community that they're hopeful that with this last push of campaigning, somebody might want to listen to them. Because yes, indeed, Mbali, for years, I've been to villages that stretch along that road several times. There is no access to clean running water, but also the road conditions. I think we've even done stories on that road. And these are communities that have been peaceful, that say, we're willing. They formed a community structure, which they call Spansberg Community Development Forum. And they say through that structure, they were having engagements with government, hoping it would amount to something. But now they've noticed that, if they don't get up and do something that government would have to react to, they don't think their demands will ever be met. So Mbali, yes, there is no water in that village. The road conditions have been like that for years. I'm witness to that. I've been there on several occasions. So they're saying their frustrations are boiling over now. They've been communicating, they've been negotiating, but it hasn't amounted to anything. But Mbali, I must also add that we were able to speak to the Department of Roads and Infrastructure, and it assured us that Communities do not need to be blockading roads and protesting as they are, because they have their ear and promising that there will be a solution that they will be giving the communities very soon. They just couldn't commit to anything as yet, but they were saying, that road has been prioritized for rehabilitation. They just couldn't commit to when and how that will happen and how much would be spent on it. So, Mbali, we are waiting for that process to unfold to see if, after handing over that memorandum, what will be the official word from the department that they will give to the communities, and if they will be able to keep that word.
Pimani, thank you so much for your time this evening. Of course, that is our SABC News reporter, Pimani Baloyi, speaking there to us from Limpopo about that protest, which has taken 2 days in Limpopo. Many people in that area fed up with the lack of services, especially when it comes to the rehabilitation of roads as well as water. And they are also saying that tomorrow they'll be handing over that memorandum of demand. So they're hoping that somebody will hear their plea.